trustees here midday. Thank you for coming. And first of all, Mr. West, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Attention, salute, pledge. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. West. Mr. Brown, would you read the mission statement, please?
Cherokee County's Board of Education's mission is for every student to graduate from high school and to be globally competitive for work, post-secondary education, and prepared for life in the 21st century.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. Are there any objections to the agenda? Then the agenda stands. Are there any objections to the minutes of the June 8th, 2017 meeting? Then those minutes stand. Are there any objections to the special call minutes of June 30th, 2017? Then those minutes stand. Gunny, do we have any public input?
No, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Next on the agenda, we have Mr. Klontz and Mr. Higdon with the Financial Planning Subcommittee.
Okay. Well, we met, and most of our items will be using the 1/2 sales tax. And Murphy Elementary School chiller at $88,658. Fencing around the compressors at Murphy High School at $750. Ranger chiller fencing around that at $1,625. The division or dividers, I guess, in the classroom, I think the subcommittee, John, we covered that. It was roughly $5,353. Elliott Brothers Mechanical, the band building at HD, $3,600. Murphy High School storage building at the track field. This was to actually separate the band, or the equipment, not the band, but the lawnmower equipment, and separate those because I guess it was concluded it was just all mixed together over there and so forth. And the building would roughly run $7,223. Also carpet. And now that was in that room, is that correct, John? The carpet for the Murphy High School carpet covering the field, maintenance equipment. What exactly?
That was a carport to go on the end of the concession stand and the storage building. There's a lot of sprayers,
yeah, that was
and equipment there.
Yeah, I got carpet on my brain.
Cover that.
Yeah, okay. Okay, the custom cabinets, Murphy High School Science Room, and this was a really good price. I think it was, 50% cheaper than what we estimated. This bid came in at $3,000, $3,050. Also, the school nutrition van, and this was for, I guess the one we have now, Jennifer, is pretty much
we're playing mileage, and it's eating us up in the mileage, so we found a really good deal on a van.
That's roughly $20,000. Andrews High School scoreboard. Now this was the subcommittee there. This was in line with the other scoreboards that we have purchased for Hiawassee Dam Murphy, and similar to the same company out of Franklin. Is that right, John?
No, Andrews High chose to go with Electromech. They had used that company before.
Yeah.
And they wanted to work with them. They're on that board, and they are going to pay some toward that cost.
But that price, that cost is the same. It's real comparable for what we've had.
Yes, sir. Very comparable.
Okay, $9,737. The EC retro, I guess you would call it, the specialty features of the EC department. Would you like to talk about some of those things that we have to have to
This is an accommodation device for one of the students in one of the classrooms, and the EC department has requested this for students.
It's necessary in those classrooms. Also, carpet replacement. We understand that, you know, our carpets, some of it's been in there for 20 years plus. Really, I don't know how it would, any carpet would hold up with traffic as the students use it. So we're talking about Murphy High School at $3,092, vocational building at $772, Peachtree Elementary at $939, Andrews Elementary at $32.54, March Creek at $4,144. And I understand there'll be more requests by principals that in the future that we will try to replace this carpet in the schools. Is that correct?
That's correct.
I think it would be a safety issue. It would be something that we need to look at, just call it a safety issue. Also, we have, we're going to discuss the easement in Andrews, the sewer line that will go near the track field. John, you want us to fill us in on that one?
The town of Andrews has approached the board asking for an easement to come around the upper side of the track. We've looked at that. We went up there and met with the engineers and looked at it. The original proposal had the sewer line coming close to the track. We spoke with them. They worked with us to bring the sewer line back. The only thing is in the easement, the change in distance was not reflected in the easement, and hopefully in a few minutes we can change the motion on that to adjust it from 350 feet back to 240. I contacted the engineer, and his email today was, per our conversation, the revised easement length should be 240 feet, not 350. And that will allow them to bring the sewer line in, serve some houses, but for us, it would also provide sewer down there to the field for any future restrooms or anything we would need on the football field. We did look. This change, I feel like is going to keep it away from the track surface, so we shouldn't have the track compromising anyway. Mr. Coffey, they met with you also on this?
Yeah, they did, and they're going to fence out while they're doing it, so there shouldn't be any contact with anybody. It sounded like a good plan.
Okay. We need a motion on that one.
We'll need a motion on the capital projects and then one on the
Are the capital projects included in our budget that you'll present?
We are still operating on a budget continuum, and our budget resolution will be at our August board meeting. So these use of sales tax items will appear as budget amendment number 1 at this time, but we can take the board's approval on the projects to get them started.
Okay. All right, so do I have a motion to accept the budget request made by the Financial Planning Subcommittee as delineated by Mr. Klons?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, vote by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right, and then for the Town of Andrews right-of-way proposal, do I have a motion that we accept that with the change of square footage, right, John?
with the change from 350 feet, a correction from 350 to 240 linear feet.
Okay. Do I have a motion?
Read.
Yeah.
Do I need to read this? It's a motion to approve the contract as written with the caveat that the easement of 350 feet be amended to read 240 feet, and that upon receipt of amended deed, the chair is authorized to execute the deed.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay. Any discussion? All in favor, vote by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right. Mr. Plum?
Covered it.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Pickens, that covers everything. Next, we have Ms. Hass and Ms. Cable with budget request.
Before we begin, I wanted to go back and touch on some details from our budget work session and let the board know where we have came with the adoption of our local current expense budget. Through our work session, it was decided by the board that we would like to include a raise to our school nutrition employees, both the managers and the cafeteria staff, to bring them to a state scale. Just to let the board, as a reminder to the board, currently we have our staff on a scale that we have devised in our office. Looking at that, that was one of the things that we had hoped to do this year, and based off of the calculations, we came up with approximately $127,000 need that we were going to request that the county commissioners help us fund. The first attempt to send that through on our budget revision, it came back as that was one of our removed items in the county recommended budget. Upon bringing that back to our financial subcommittee meeting, we had received the direction from the board that we would like to see that re-entered, so we did resubmit that request to be considered. Unanimously, it was approved by the Board of Commissioners with one exception. Rather than them give it to us in county appropriation dollars, they would like to see us use our Article 46 cents, our Article 46, which is that quarter-cent sales tax dollars. Knowing that how we promoted the use of that Article 46 dollars to be used for Cherokee County schools, and also knowing that we would like to see a building project come from the use of that as what we had kind of lobbied on. We had, in the meantime, gone to the drawing board to see what we could come up with in case the commissioners did come back and they did deny that. So Ms. Cable and I, we had gone through and we had came up with a couple of different ideas. The first one being, you know, what with the changeover in the staff, is that $127,000 figure still needed? We were able to shave some off of it, but not enough to really matter. The second idea that we looked at was to put all of the managers onto the state scale for this year, and for the remainder of the staff to allow them to see an increase that would bring them well over minimum wage, which is what we had found with the staff, is that, you know, for retention purposes, we were losing staff because, you know, nearby restaurants, they're offering new employment $850, $875, and we had them at, what was it, Ms. Cable? $825. So we, together, we had devised a scale to begin the staff this year at $875, correct?
Yes.
Just wanted to make sure that we didn't change it from that. And this was the recommendation that we brought back to our financial subcommittee, and I'd like to expand as to why. Rather than proceed with the full 127 this year, we are in a year from requalifying for our CEP program with our school nutrition. With that being said, with monitoring the percentage declines that we have saw in the past several years, if we were to try to requalify for the same program right now that we are currently locked in, we will see a 12% decrease in the revenue source that would be coming into us. The decrease in that amount alone would not be enough to sustain the program as a whole. It would be a very, I couldn't in good faith come to you and make this recommendation knowing that we could have a loss in the program in the following year, that we could not even operate under the same standards of what we are currently doing. Based off of the numbers that Ms. Cable and I have came up with for this year, we believe, we're confident that we could put the managers on the state scale, and we can see the other workers get this raise that would, you know, is over 50 cents an hour to them, which is, you know, a decent raise considering in the past that they were getting a penny raise, 2-cent raises, 5-cent raises. So we think that that will hopefully show them that our heart's in the right place and that we are looking out for them overall as a program. But if we could table the idea of bringing the cafeteria staff into the state scale for this year and revisit it next year once we have the new CEP data, then I think that that would be a financially responsible decision for the board. But I did want to bring that to you. Ms. Cable is going to present her budget off of these assumptions that we have made. But we wanted to have the full board's support or open it up for discussion as to how they would like us to proceed with this.
Does anyone have questions for Ms. Harris?
So the bottom line number for this coming year, if we follow the recommendations, what?
We are going to, the school nutrition program will be able to pay for that. It will be of no cost to our local budget.
I would just like to say that it's very unfortunate that the county recommended us take the Article 46 money or sales tax to do this, and did not consider the county appropriations to do our request, because these ladies, and we know that they were underpaid, overworked for years, and it's a group of folks that work with us that needed our total support, and they have our support, but financially it would have really helped. And you know, the sales tax money is brick and mortar money, but yet they wanted us to use this money to pay, you know, for wages. But I think the attempt that Ms. Hanson, Ms. Cagle has done has been very honorable, and I think I would agree with it. If we can do this much, will be hopefully a start for next year that we can continue. But it's you know, it's needed, and it was needed.
Based on my projections for, you know, the school nutrition program has really came a long way in the past couple of years. The first year that I was here, you know, we had the concern that the program was, I mean, they were in a negative fund balance position, and it had all the direction of going even further into a plummet than what it was. So with Ms. Cable and with the community eligibility program, that program has really turned itself around. Currently, they have a fund balance of about $81,000. If we were to make this move and we do lose that great percentage within the first year of operation, they would be back in the same position that they were in prior to. And I think that they've made great gains, and they've added to fund balance every year over the past 4 years. My fear for them is that we would then, as a board, need to appropriate money for survival rather than salaries. And if we, I did want, you know, to bring it before the board. The option is there to do the $127,000. It has been approved by the commissioners, but I did want to share our concerns with you for taking that that offer this year and not tabling it a year to know what the program would be looking at.
Are there any other questions for Ms. Hass or Ms. Cable?
This is not really related to this particular issue, but just something was said. Do we not have some kind of agreement with the commissioners how that quarter-cent sales tax is supposed to be used? Did that not happen?
Their agreement is that when we passed the quarter-cent sales tax, we led the campaign. The agreement is that they will allow it to be used for Cherokee County education. We intend to hold them to that, and we also made promises it would not go for personnel. That we, as Mr. Clark said, it would be brick and mortar. Our buildings are at a place where we've got to start planning now for the next 10 years.
Yeah, I think if we ever do that, if we ever bring away from the capital, it's gonna just get eaten up.
And honestly, the way, and Dean, you correct me if I'm wrong, the statute is written, they're granting us use of that. They could actually vote to take it back any time and use it. It passed because we led the flag.
Yep.
So I think that we owe it to the public to use it as we have said.
I agree.
Are there any other questions? Ms. Gale, you're up.
So you should have a copy of the budget for school nutrition in your packet. We are seeing a decrease in our operating budget a little bit simply because we've gone to 171 serving days. So that does take a hit to us. but I feel confident that we can make this. This budget is based on managers being on state scale. All other cafeteria employees, the starting salary will be $8.75 an hour. And it also includes a bump, and we're talking about that, whether they're gonna get the step or not, depending on kind of what we do across the county for all other non-certified folks. So we feel very good about this budget. This budget does include, and we'll have to have approval also for this, from the 2010 Healthy Hungry Free Kids Act. USDA requires that the same level of support for those students paying for full paid meals is comparable to what we're getting for state reimbursement. So we are presented a tool every year. We have to plug numbers in, and it tells us either you're going to have to raise your lunch prices, your full paid lunch prices, which right now only affects our high school students, or local can put money in. For this year, we are required to go up 10 cents, which would be, for a full paid high school meal is $2.85, which is comparable to a little over if a child ate with us every single day, it would be $17.10 increase for a year. If the school board, if you decide that you wanted to put money in, you're looking at a little over $7,800 is what the state's going to say that you'll have to put in. So the budget was built on us going up to lunch prices of $2.85, and we're only going to see an increase of a little over $2,620 for the school nutrition program for the 10 cents on the amount of high school students that are paying. So that's what the budget is built on, so I need an approval on the budget and also the raise for lunch prices.
All right, does anyone have questions for Ms. Cagle?
And that only affects the full lunch price?
Yes, it's only a full paid lunch price, the high school. Mm-hmm.
Do I have a motion that we approve the school nutrition budget and the raise of 10 cents on paid lunches?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, vote by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, the budget will appear in the budget resolution in our August meeting following today's approval.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have Mr. Tatum with policy reviews.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Today for second reading, we have policy number 2220, official school spokesperson, 2325, board meeting news coverage, 2330, board meeting agenda, 2600, consultants to the board, 4550, school assignment. Per the recommendation of the superintendent, we wish to table that policy. Continuing on with second reading policies, we have 5022, registered sex offenders, 6140, school wellness, 6306, school bus idling, and 7720, employee political activities.
Does anyone have any questions for Mr. Tatum? So I have a motion that we accept policy 2220, 2325, 2330, 2600, 5022, 6140, 6306, 7720. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, vote by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Okay, motion carries.
And also for first reading, we have 3410, testing and assessment program, 3470 and 4305, alternative learning programs, 5008, automated phone and text messaging, 5030, community use of facilities, 6320, use of student transportation services, 6450, purchase of services, and 7930, professional employees, demotion and dismissal.
Does anyone have any questions about the first reading? Yes, thank you, Mr. Taylor. Next on the agenda, we have Dr. Conley with the superintendent's report.
Thank you. We'd like to thank Hiawassee Dam Schools, Hiawassee Dam High School, and Principal Daniel McNabb, who in cooperation with the alumni memorialized Mr. Grady Anderson by installing a plaque naming the pavilion in front of the Hiawassee Dam School in his honor. Mr. Anderson's teaching career began in 1949, where he continued to teach until his retirement in 1995. They had a gathering, and it was a very nice event. Also, congratulations to Miss Melissa Godfrey, the principal of Andrews Elementary, who was selected by her peers as the Principal of the Year for 2016-17. Also, due to the reports we are receiving from public safety agencies, we will be calling August 21st, which is a scheduled optional workday, to be treated in the form of a snow day or a no day. Teachers may work with their principals to swap their time. If you drive by our schools, you will see parking lots already full of teachers who are working on their own time. It'll be very easy for them to swap one of those days due to the eclipse. We're advising that everyone just kind of stay home and take care of their own, unless they are working or collaborating with a school event or a Cherokee County event. Of course, then they can use it as their optional work day. Also, because of the eclipse, we are moving our opening day celebration, which was scheduled for 8 a.m. on August 22nd at Tri-County Community College, to later that afternoon, 12:30 p.m., and all the board is invited. August 22nd, in Low Building at Tri-County Community College. And it's a very busy summer. We're winding up, but that's all I have for you at this time, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Dr. Conley. Mr. Brown, do we have a motion to adjourn to break and close session?
We do. Pursuant to the provisions of North Carolina General Statute 143-318.11A3 and C, I move that Cherokee County Board of Education go into closed session for the following purposes. Under subsection A1, to prevent the disclosure of privileged or confidential personnel information pursuant to General Statute 115C- protected by the attorney-client privilege, and under subsection A5, to discuss terms of contract of employment.
Yeah, I have a motion. Do I have a second? Any discussion? All in favor, vote by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. We're adjourned for